Hey fellow agents, this is Agent Smith and we are playing Kentucky Route Zero. So in a previous episode we were getting some things together, getting some meals together and about ready to head to a restaurant, but our main characters were asked to go ahead back a little ways to drop off a package or head forwards. Either way, heading through the Bat Sanctuary and Hibernaculum, as it stated, and drop a package off at the exchange. So that is where we left off and that is where we will continue. So we're just pulling up now. I did this already, this little bit of a segment, but I had a little trouble. It's like it just froze on me. I wasn't able to move. I think it's because I reacted really quick to this kid talking, so I might have to just bypass that conversation again real quick. But hopefully I'll be able to figure out what's going on. There we go. See, it like froze up. So let me just bypass this real quick. Careful up there. Can't drive your new truck if you slip and break your legs. You too. Try not to make any more bad deals while I'm gone. I'll just be floating along down here. I just mean keep your eyes open and don't look back. Dashio. Really nice place. Could be bypassed with our capacitor at 100 nanofarads to reduce noise. If your circuit's too noisy, you should tie those floating pins to the ground. Huh? That's a pretty good idea. They're probably picking up all kinds of radio interference. Dashiell Morse, pleased to meet you. We don't install this type of phone for customers anymore, but there are quite a few of them still in circulation. Anyway, the new system doesn't source enough current to ring these old bells, so I'm trying to come up with a workaround. Maybe a little box the customer could attach right before the wall jack. I'm a bit of a circuit geek myself. I bet. I mean, you seem very comfortable with electronics. Is this your first time down here? Yeah, I can tell. Your eyes can't quite adjust to the light. It takes some practice. Believe it or not, I've been coming here since I was a kid, for one reason or the next. Back then, this place was a train station. It's true. They had bats then, too, but they were considered a nuisance. A train station? What happened to it? Well, the river shifted and this place slowly filled with water, carrying the trains away with the current. It does that, the river, and I don't begrudge it. It's a good reminder that everything we have is borrowed, even trains. Eventually, someone at the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces heard this place was still empty, so they moved the phone company in here. I returned here as a young lineman, a skill I picked up in a wartime, running telephone wires between enemy lines. We used trees instead of poles. I missed that, actually. They were easier to climb. It's just as well. I'm in no shape to be climbing anything these days. The closest I get is patching up the wiring in the crystal room for WEVP, folks. WEVP, that's community television. I've volunteered there for a number of years. I know everybody over there. Ralph, Sherry, Weaver, Dave. Weaver Marquez? Sure, Weaver Marquez. That's funny. I was just thinking about her. Yeah, I met her a couple of times at the TV station. I suppose I didn't know her too well. She handled the archives and I was helping with the wiring and stuff. She really seems to know her way around all that gear, though. She had a head for signals, I think. No idea where she ended up. I would guess she's probably not too popular around the station anymore, but I always liked her. Listen, miss, if you're interested in WEVP, you should go talk to them directly. They're always looking for volunteers. Take the ferry over to the silo. There's a mail stop there. They don't have a sign or anything, just ask around. I guess I'll get back to this damn old ringer. Poppy's just a little further down if you're dropping off that package. Nice chatting with you. That's the closest thing to an old man voice I can do. He looked like he was shaking and stuff too. Plaque reads, Abel and Eloise, the lovers, couriers. Bred for racing, Abel and Eloise spent most of their lives as carrier pigeons and employ. Oh, that's the two statues. Okay, employ of the Echo River Avian Post. They retired there after Abel was disfigured in an accident with a light aircraft. So much trouble reading today. But old habits were hard to die. Abel and Eloise would pick up scraps of paper from the ground and the trash and even pull them out of pockets and deliver them to other people nearby to the delight or embarrassment. Word spread and travelers passed through this tunnel began to come prepared with love letters, poems, and other written desires to pass along indirectly through these pigeons. After a hard day's work, Abel and Eloise would always be found nestling closely together in a disused newspaper stand set aside for their habitation. And that's where we left them. Cute. Poppy. There we go. Bop, bop, bop. Bop, bop, bop. Bop, bop, bop. Is that a big old switchboard thing? Just set it right there by the lamp, sweetie, thanks. Actually, just a minute. Who does that parcel claim to be from? Laszlo's Electronics. Oh, must be my new patch cables, and not a minute too soon. This one here is hanging by a fiber. So, who are you? Do you work for the post office or the tugboat? I ask because I haven't seen you before. Was that you I heard chatting down the hall? Yeah, I just met Dashiell. He's been working on that obsolete ringer, wasn't he? Hasn't he? Poor Dashiell. You know, he's not really. He was let go a while back. Long while, actually. When they started restructuring, he was one of the first to go. But we talked them into letting him come every day and fiddle with that some interminable project. He says it's to keep a long gap from growing his resume. That's a weird statement, but I think he just has nothing better to do. One of those old men who needs to work, doesn't know how to be any other way. Well, there are real jobs here, but there are fake jobs, I guess. It wasn't always like this. When I came to work at the Echo River Central Exchange, there were 12 of us. Loretta, Edna, Meg, Bloop, Kara, Marie, Lois, Liz, Hester, Angie, Wilma, Connie. I was number 12. Connie and I were hired on the same day, but she showed up early. Marie finished college and Hester was fired for snapping at a rude caller. But he had it coming, and I hear she did just fine on her own. So they hired Beryl, Jana, and Sachiko. Yeah, which brought us up to 13, and that was as many operators as we ever had here at one time. Our company came along, buying up all the lines, and one day they took the exchange as a throw-in, like it was nothing. And they started phasing us out. Edna, Meg, Kara, Lois, they all left one Friday evening, and we asked, and were asked not to come back on Monday morning. Barrow saw the writing on the wall and quickly found employment at the private PBX. They had Jenna and Liz stop routing calls, or routing even, and write up some kind of best practices document instead. It was their final task as exchange employees. Some of the girls were reassigned to other divisions. Connie, I think, was checking residential meters. Sachiko and Wilma were moved into energy sales, cold calling businesses to see if they needed to upgrade their electricity plan. At least they were still on the phone. Then it was just Loretta, Angie, and me. We were swamped. The hours were hell and hard on the throat. The voice with a smile became a croak. I was gargling warm salt water in the break room and sipping from thermos full of hot honey broth stashed under my chair. Oh, I brought a lot of extended technique to the switchboard in these days. In those days, even. And the phone is ringing, so I gotta get back to work. Sounded pretty good to me. He's got the voltage too high. He'll burn out the relay. So, where was I? Extended switchboard techniques. Yes. It was all about timing your breath. Some girls got lightheaded doing too many calls in a row with that upbeat dynamic inflection they made us use to keep everything intelligible. It was very physical. So after a few months, it was just me. A new automation strategy was announced, and this place was rechristened Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30. If it's automated, what do you do here? It's not fully automated. There's still gaps in functionality that need a human touch. And you know, it really is all about touch here. Sound is vibration. And touch you feel in your ears, so my voice is my touch. When we're talking, we're touching, even on the phone. That's an electric touch. An intimate little shock that makes your tiny hairs tremble. That's not even what I mean when I say it's all about touch here. When the power company first tried automating this old exchange with fancy new transistor arrays, the switchboard caught fire, and it was just too much, too fast. So they tried using some clunky old mechanical relays, but then the calls were getting mismatched and out of sync. It was a nightmare. Their techniques determined that the phone system down here had been designed ad hoc over decades around this specific tempo of its human operators. So, short of replacing the whole thing, not to mention all of the wiring, they'd have to work out the exact timing of every little human gesture that goes into routing a phone call. And that, officially, is my role here. I run the switchboard for the whole exchange. Once the work of 12, I'd like to remind you. They had some kind of machine somewhere that tracked how long it takes to me to do each little thing. The caller never hears my voice now. They dial, my little indicator lights will switch on, and I make the connection. Interesting. What's the machine like? Oh, it's funny. I've never actually seen it. They told me just to carry on patching while it collects and collates in the background until it's ready to take over. There's a dark thought. What if there's no cheap machine that's going to replace me? What if it's cheaper just to keep me here, filling in for the rhythm of the operators? What if I'm the cheap machine? Why don't you just quit? In this economy? No, you're probably right. Working in silence for peanut shells, waiting to be replaced by a robot, it doesn't sound very dignified, does it? The reality is that I've been working here for my whole adult life. I came here as a girl, and I'll leave here as a middle-aged woman. I don't know if I'm ready to be her yet. And it sounds like Dashiell. Oh, the parcel right over there by the lamp is fine. Thanks for dropping that off. Take care. Think of me when you dial 0. Okay. And the electric people come a-boatin', and the dog is out there walking. Give them the mean death glare. Unless they took me. Did they take me this time? Did I finally make another deal? Since he seems to have deals all the time. Doop, 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 doop. It's an interesting exit to the segment. Was that the end of this whole act? No. We head back. Awesome, and I finally did it this way. So I don't have to go through that slow sequence. She returned on the dinghy alone. She had a strong and sudden urge to shut the motor off and let the current take her, but she couldn't work out where that impulse came from, so she did her best to resist it. I'm assuming that's who's narrating, as Will has been narrating most of these. She met a guitar player pedaling a floating bicycle with his dog in tow. He said they took turns. The water was cold, and the floating bicycle, while technically marvelous, wasn't quite buoyant enough for the both of them. Swimming is hard work, the hardest work that dog had ever done, he expected. They'd been traveling this way for most of the night, struggling through the icy water, stopping to recover when they could find a rock large enough to start a small campfire. He had his belongings stuffed into a weathered guitar case at the end of a thin rope. It floated pretty well, so he only had to keep an eye on it and occasionally free it from a rock or something, some driftwood it was caught on. She invited him to ride a ways on the dinghy. He appreciated the offer, but they weren't in a hurry. I figured that'd be the best one. She met a painter of shipwrecks. He never worked from photographs, so his paintings could be divided into two categories. There was the ones he painted from life, and the Echo River was a very good source for those because of its currents were so unpredictable and the tunnels so dark. He rendered these in oil paint by lamplight, working for hours cross-legged on the porch of his houseboat/studio. Then there was the ones he painted from memory, mostly the memory of a single wreck he encountered as a much younger man, picking up litter where the coastal highway cleaves to the rocks of the rocky beach of Northern California. These were done in watercolor. He preferred to work on them in the morning, in a room he rented near the airport in Louisville. He had some postcard-sized sketches in charcoal, too, of the Iron Pariah. It wasn't a wreck, exactly, but it felt right. He tried to scribble one down every time he encountered it, though it was so unpredictable, and he was so focused on details, he usually just ended up with a handful of inscrutable marks. She met a family of 5 on a flat-bottomed skiff. The boat was loaded to capacity with black plastic bags and a few larger pieces of furniture wrapped in blue tarp. The three paddled, and the 2 adults and the other older child. The 2 younger children slept. They'd been traveling all night, first by car and then for the last few hours by boat, hungry and tired. They didn't plan to stop until they reached West Virginia, where a relative had offered to take them in, but the adults were happy to take a break from paddling in weary silence. They asked her about her river journey. She said she was on her way to Salmonida's. They'd bought some food. The kids had picked the garden clean earlier in the day, so they'd been snacking on fresh bell peppers and tomatoes, some crackers rationed carefully for the trip. They wished her well, and paddled on toward West Virginia. She gave in, shut off the motor, and floated for a while, and then she knew what she'd been craving. A moment of silence. Act 4, Scene 9. Figured I'd give us a moment of silence as well. Sam and Ida's. Oh, I thought it was Ira's, because when he mentioned Ira, my brain switched this name around. Interesting. Let's go get some breakfast. There we go. I was like, can I just choose to go up now? A bit of a long trek. A long trek. Who we got here? Oh, Will and them. Just in time. We've already finished eating, but we're about to place a to-go order for Clara. She's back on board, getting ready for her show. Take a look at the menu. I'm sure there's something you'll like. Ida is a bit of a local celebrity. For her cooking, I mean. Hey, Ira. Hey, Ezra. Oh wait, it's Junebug, excuse me. Hey, Ezra was just asking about you. He's around the corner playing a video game. Maybe go let him know you two are back? Or where's the old man anyway? That's actually a good question. I have to assume that those 3 skeletons was actually him. And that was what I was thinking it was, since we seem to be interpreting what this game is as we go. We make all the choices for the game. That's not a video game, that's a claw arm. Oh, bad luck. You'll get it next time. Hey, got a quarter? He's almost got this. It's true. Sure. I have one quarter. Thank you. So, where's... They took him. Damn. Yeah, he really got himself in a situation there. Yeah, I'm gonna go sit down. Cool. The food is good here. I think everyone else is finishing up, but you could probably get something to go. Alright, Claw Maestro, let's give it another try. So let's see what's on top of the pile here. There's a stuffed octopus, a plastic bag full of clamshells, a cowboy hat, and some big headphones. That octopus has a leg wrapped around the boombox underneath it. The shells are pretty clear, but I don't know if the claw can really grip the bag well. The cowboy hat is in the corner, so it's kind of tricky to tell if it's wedged in or not. Those headphones might be a good bet, but I can't see the cord. It could be wrapped around something. What are you going to try for? I want the cowboy hat. Sounds good. I hope we can get the claw back far enough to get a grip on it. Okay, when I put this quarter in, you'll have about 8 seconds to grab your prize. The hat is in the back right corner. Let me know if you need help lining it up. I've got a slightly different view of the field from up here. Ready? Here we go. Johnny inserts the coin and the machine awakens. Timer 8. The claw hovers in the front left corner of the machine. Up. 7. The claw hovers halfway along the left wall of the machine. Up. 6 seconds. Claw hovers in the back left corner of the machine. Put the joystick to the right. Timer says 5. The claw hovers halfway along the back wall of the machine. Ezra pushes the joystick. Thank you. Right. 4. Claw hovers in the back right corner of the machine. Does this look right? Yeah. Looks good to me. Go for it. 3. The claw hovers in the back right corner of the machine. Ezra pushes the joystick... Nope. Pushes the button to drop the claw. The claw drops. It grabs the hat. The claw is only able to get a hold of the brim. It's not strong enough to grip to pull the hat out of the machine. Sorry, kid. That hat would have looked good on you, too. But I guess it's just too far back in that corner. Hey, listen. It sounds like that old man the man you were following around, I guess he had to leave. Is he coming back? Well, probably not. He's got himself a trajectory, you know. Anyway, I don't know what kind of plans you have now, but you need help if you need help figuring out your next move, you can always talk to me and Miss Junebug. I just wanted to make sure you know that. I could keep going with you. Hey, I've got no objections. We have a pretty ad hoc thing going on, me and Junebug. I have to talk to her, but I bet you're welcome to tag along for a while, if you're into it. Hey, maybe we still have time to poke around this place a little. They have some pretty wild stuff in here. You live with 2 robots, and he's got his giant bird relative. The most interesting kid in the world. Hey, did you see this? They keep a table full of fake food over here. I've never known why. Actually, I think it might be real food coated with shellac or something, preserved. Oh, and look, this tentacle-looking thing is half-eaten. This is someone's meal that they didn't finish. Tentacle, ew, gross. Man, I don't know. Some people really like that stuff. I had some fried calamari once at a gas station. It was pretty good. But I stripped a gear trying to chew the beak. They're supposed to take that out. If Sam and I'd preserved this half-eaten meal, it must have been pretty important to them, right? Maybe it belonged to someone they care about, like a beloved uncle had a mid-meal stroke, so they kept it in his memory. My folks left behind a bag of sunflower seeds, but I threw it away. I should have kept it, right? Oh, no, I didn't mean that, kid. You don't need to hang on to every little memento. I'm sure you still remember them just fine. Are you worried about them? No, they're gone. There's nothing to worry about. I just miss them. Okay, well, I don't know what the deal is with this table, but sometimes people do weird stuff because they miss someone. That is very weird. They shellacked a meal. Weird. Somehow I thought it was his truck and delivery and all. It was. That's what she's saying, but he gave it to her before they took him away. But you're going to deliver it anyway. Why? He's my friend, and he needs my help to finish his job. That's right. He's our friend too. Johnny and I will help you unload when we get there. Lift with your legs, Cricket. Yes, ma'am. So, how was everything? How was the sweet cave snail? Devastating. You're a killer, Ida. Well, I can't take all the credit. Sam came across a whole cave snail colony down there about a year back, and we've been leaving rock candy for them to gorge on since. We just started harvesting earlier this month. Yes, it's all about patience down here. Everything grows more slowly in the dark. There's a fish in Lake Leth that lives to 200 years, and its flavor profile only develops at about 75. I've got a pot of bones in there that's been stewing for at least a week. I don't even remember why I put them on. Come to think of it, I don't even remember what kind of bones they are. Oh, we need one for the road. Clara said she wanted, something primordial, she said. What does that mean? Reviewing the menu. I think she meant something from very deep in the lake. Could be. Hands Shannon the menu. Here, you pick. I'm not good at this. Shannon inspects the menu. What about? Oh, cuttlefish. Sorry, I'm doing that one. Sweetwater cuttlefish spread. Good choice. Your friend will love it. I'll have that right out, sweetie. Ezra leans over the table and carefully examines the preserved food and drink. Impressive pea-sized eyeball. Oh. Ugh. He runs his finger along the grayish claw. The surface of the claw is completely smooth. And that was a small one. They're asymmetrical. Sorry, I startled you, sweetie. Why didn't they finish their meal? Well, they had more than twice as much food as they really needed, so even half was too much. This food is about 15 years old. It's true. Things are different. Were different then. Nobody came to eat here. We were fighting just to keep the lights on. Sam, my husband Sam, was depressed. He couldn't catch anything. That was part of the problem. Most of what we served was shipped in frozen or dried, and I just threw it in a fryer. We've both come a long way since then. Well, 2 young men came in for dinner, seasoned divers, they said. Over 10,000 hours between them in Lake Leth alone. They'd been out all day salvaging parts for a riverboat wreck and had worked up a fierce hunger, they said. They ordered the whole menu without even looking. It was a short menu in those days. I sat them right here and went back to the kitchen. Sam was at the next table doing Sudoku, drinking malt liquor. His usual routine at that time. An hour later, I was cleaning up when Sam came bursting into the kitchen. Ida, he said, kind of frantic. These divers are still hungry. Bring them another course. And I said, they're already ordered the whole menu. Sam said, make something new. Keep making up dishes. Whatever, just keep bringing out food. So I did until the small hours of the morning. I made up so many new dishes that night, I could write a book. And it was good. Inspired. But I was working so hard and fast at the burning edge of the inspiration, I didn't think to write any of it down, and I was so wrecked with exhaustion the next day, I knew I couldn't remember what all I had done in the kitchen. Sam thought he could take a photograph of the leftovers, but we couldn't get the lighting right, so we just shellacked the whole table. Now, when I need inspiration from the menu, I come and look here and think about all those ingenious dishes I threw together for those divers. Of course, they didn't pay their full bill. I heard one of them complaining to the other, let's just pay half and let them charge the other half to whatever demon in the kitchen kept making up food faster than we could ask for. But it all worked out. Things have really turned around since then. This place is actually pretty popular now. The success in our expanded menu inspired Sam too. He started bringing back the most magnificent ingredients from his nightly dives. I'd better get to work. Stay right here, sweetie, and I'll bring you a treat on my way back out. Oh, bring one for the dog too. Boop, boop, boop. That must be an interesting way to live like that, I suppose. Oh, it's a literal dive, like diving bell style. Damn, that's a big old fish. Well, buddy, I guess you're the catch of the day, the one and only. So, what are you? You look like, well, some kind of eel. That's what I was gonna say. Some kind of eel, I guess. Kind of a mopey little guy, huh? Yeah, I can see it in your eyes. You smell like, sort of buttery. Well, that should be just fine. Skin feels like sandpaper, huh? Well, she'll figure something out. I think I'll call you
Rich white eel. Welcome to Salmonitis, the one and only rich white eel. I hope you enjoy your stay. I mean, not too much. Have you ever seen a creature like me before? You were pretty far down there. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm the first, except there were 2 divers who went before me long ago. Maybe that was before your time. How old are you anyway, I wonder? They ate here once back in the bad old days. 2 young guys, could have been brothers maybe. I was over in the corner with my coffee and crossword.
Whiskey and Sudoku. Gosh.
Anyway, I hadn't been able to catch a thing, so I'd just fried up something from frozen. Well, these guys were hungry enough to eat it and asked for more, and they did at least as much talking as eating. See, like I said, they were divers, and like I said, they might have been brothers. They had a kind of rivalry between them or something. Ida was about to write up their check, but I slipped calmly and quietly into the kitchen for a minute and told her to just keep bringing out food. I figured they wouldn't notice, caught up in their boasting as they were, and I wanted to listen. They went back and forth for hours about all the deep, dangerous dives they'd been on, new tunnels they'd discovered, all the weird creatures they'd encountered at the weirdest depths of Lake Lethe. It was like a dance. No, like a boxing match. Each story went deeper than the last. I listened to every word of it, memorized every description of every tunnel and diving route they discovered. That's my map now. You see, for 15 years I've been using routes those 2 young divers discussed right there at the table. Yeah, I could write a guidebook on the depths of this lake, but I don't dare. Someone would steal my good diving spots, and then where would we be? See, people come here from all over just to try our daily catch, because they know it's unique. Ain't you proud? Since I can't write any of it down, I just preserved that table there they had their meal. Where they had their meals, so I can look at it to jog my memory, like they were eating pickled crab, then they talked about that shipwreck full of salamanders. Pretty clever, huh? It's my own secret code. Well, I'll be straight with you, rich white eel. There is one feature of this arrangement that I find unsettling. In fact, I lose a decent amount of sleep over it. I told you those boys were competing, right? One-upping each other. I mean, each getting wilder and more adventurous as they traded tales. Well, I navigated most of the dark down there, just going by touch and kind of mental picture I can construct from their detailed boasts, and every time I explore a new diving spot from those recollections, I have to weigh it all against the risk that I'm headed right into dangerous falsehood. One of those men could have felt for a moment like he was losing some ground in their little duel, so he could have slipped a fake one in there. Maybe told a fib about some dive he went on and found a colony of blind shrimp living in a discarded refrigerator, and then I get down there, my diving bell cracks open on a sharp rock where he said that fridge would be, and that's the end of Sam of Salmonitis. To be honest, that possibility puts the fear of death in me every time I touch water.
He is talking to the eel. Hey, Sam. Good haul tonight?
Well, we'll see what she can make of it. Yeah, pretty good, I think. I hit some trouble down by the narrow tunnel. Some kind of fast-growing freshwater barnacles just about sealed it up. I picked away for half an hour before I gave up and went around the other way. But I got the catch of the day. That's the important part. That's what people travel for.
What's the catch of the day?
This year's rich eel, mopey sandpapery old eel. I don't know how she'll fix him, but that sandpapery quality ought to do something for what do they call it? Mouthfeel?
I apologize if my voice changed, but I got put on a phone call with my mom for 1 solid hour in the middle of this recording.
Will you stay for a drink? I've got a dark rum that goes well with the coffee.
I think you were about to. Well, no, yeah, I think we're about to leave. But thanks.
Just passing through. Hey, aren't we all? Oh, she's got your food ready. You all enjoy your meal, all right?
Yeah, but they'll be ready for tomorrow or the next time that we all have this together. Yeah, man, I had this game on pause for a solid 54-minute phone call. My mom calls. We both are long-winded. You think I like to talk and doing these voices, man? Get me on a phone. Get me in a conversation. My coworkers, my wife, my kid, my everybody who knows me will tell you. Especially when I had a little rum. This was full at the beginning of that conversation with my mom.
I'm just passing through.
Hopefully,
Treasures and my hopes
we
are placed
are coming to a new act. Because I'm pretty sure, based on the math of my clock, this episode ran long. I don't know. We'll find out, though. I love this band. She returns to the tugboat. I guess I could have sat there and listened to the river for a while. Boom. Oh, I can't. Alright, we have to wait till we get to the next destination, so. Clear my throat and get ready for some boys. But yeah, yeah. We'll wait till we get to the next place.
See that? Just looks like a whirling mess of garbage, doesn't it? Well, that's what it is. I don't know why trash seems to collect right there. Of all the spots on the lake, it's always been that way. Everyone just navigates around it like it was an island or something. A trash island, like it is up on the surface in around the year 2000, when there's a giant trash island in the middle of the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean. Look closely. You can see some wood scraps from the old canoe rental shop. Gemini Canoe and Firewood. The place was run by two twin sisters, Cassie and Paula, I think. This was years ago. They used to rent out canoes to tourists, campers, pilgrims, folks like that. They must have had some kind of deal with the distillery. You'd always see a couple of hard times even boys, posted up on the dock, peddling small bottles of their to their customers. Cassie and Paula worked those old canoes to death, wrung every single penny out of them. They'd only take one out of commission when it was truly demonstrably dangerous. And you couldn't get a refund unless your boat was visibly taking on water. The side business in firewood was a stroke of minor genius. Yeah, this cluttered place takes a decent local museum. It makes a decent local museum even. It's as good as a history as I could ever tell. We arrived at a small houseboat neighborhood that sometimes hosted concerts for the pleasure of its residents, where Clara was scheduled that night to perform.
I'm pretty sure that my Will voice went a little off, but that's alright. I feel in my head it sounds right.
But I feel like it's got a little bit more tone than it should.
Either way, I don't care. I have finished 3/4 of this drink in between the phone call, so I started this episode good, and I'm ending this episode really bad. Ooh, Ezra stayed on the tugboat to help Clara with her performance. Junebug and Johnny watched the show from the dockyard with the others. I like to watch the show.
Junebug and Johnny watched the show from the dockyards with the others.
And now we'll get into that act, of which we will probably do in the next one, because this is Act 4, Scene 10. 10. a neighborhood. I bumped the mic like 3 times doing that. This is why you don't drink and play video games, y'all. And I know it's 11 in the morning when you're seeing this, or 11:30-ish by this point. But woo! So I'm going to quit out of this real quick because, boop, we can jump back in because that camera just doesn't want to fucking stop. Just things happening all the time, so. But either way, I hope that you guys have been enjoying these episodes, and this story is just interesting in general. We've got about 2 more parts to go, a segue and a whole nother chapter that hopefully will make sense to all this. Or maybe it's just a meandering story that just wanders along a lazy river on a circular highway leading to absolutely nothing. Truly, truly, a game inspired by the works of David Lynch. So, yeah, if you're enjoying all of this, then I will see you all in the next episode of Kentucky Route Zero. Have a great day.
Oh, hey. I see that you guys are done with this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, you can see another one over here on the right-hand side. And, of course, we've also got one on the left as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.